right, hey everybody, and welcome to the Power Hitters Club Elite weekly webinar. This is episode number 217, the ideal Facebook ad frequency. We've got lots to talk about today, probably because we actually published some content on the site. I know we've been getting back to it lately, but trying to get definitely more committed now that I'm out of baseball season. So how's this going to work? It'll be about 30 minutes, give or take. We'll start with a rundown of the latest developments to impact you as a Facebook advertiser. We will have time for Q&A at the end, so make sure you send in those questions as you've got them. Of course, we are recording. If you're a member of PHC Elite, make sure you go back and to powerhittersclub.com. You can watch all the 217 replays in addition to getting all the relevant links and downloadable audio and all kinds of stuff. Within PHC Basic, you'll have access within the Facebook group, within the units, to the PHC webinar unit, where you'll just get those replays that I upload to the Facebook group every week. All right, so what are we going to cover? We'll start with a great post put together by our friend Luke Elliott, on the ideal frequency. It's a question we get often, and not to spoil things, but he doesn't come out and say there's an ideal frequency. Probably no surprise. But I'll always get asked, is there an ideal frequency? What is it? And so basically this blog post that he writes explores the details of what frequency is, how to uncover it, just some intricacies of frequency, how to control it, some considerations regarding it, etc. It's probably the most in-depth article I've ever seen on frequency. Then I actually decided to write something. Yeah, finally I had some time, and we'll get to that. Actually, I think I switched the order here. We get to trends from Buffer. Buffer actually got some info from AppSumo. I think it was 200,000 of their clients. Gives us some trends on top business pages. Okay, and then add a contact form to a Canvas. This is the blog post I just wrote today. Anyone who's been paying attention to PHC webinars or in PHC in general, this isn't new to you because we've talked about it within PHC webinars before. I did a quick video tutorial on it. But if you missed any of that and maybe you learn better via an article and images, you can check that out. I'm actually going to walk through the step-by-step today as well in case you missed it. Business pages getting a redesign. In particular, it seems to be local pages. There's a study that Attribution put together on short or long copy. Now, a small sample size alert on this one. I appreciate Attribution. I appreciate the studies that they do. They're pretty small sample size, though, when they publish their findings. And this one's a $1,000 experiment that used lots of different creative. And I just don't think $1,000 is enough for that. And it's really just for one specific campaign. So a small sample size alert. However, what I do appreciate is that the results are not what you would expect. And that's what I often tell people when it comes to short or long copy. Try games before you buy. It's a new, why is this within, a webinar on advertising? It's because this is a new ad unit Facebook's offering for game developers that basically are playable ads. Pretty cool. Facebook and banks, not data. So in case you heard some misinformation floating around about Facebook partnering with banks now, to collect your data and using that data to do who knows what. It's not really what's happening. I'll give you the lowdown there. Pixel page enhancement. I'm not really clear exactly what's happening here, but our friend Tom Hiscox shared a screen. He always likes to keep us hanging on all the details of these new discoveries he makes because I don't have it. Facebook Attribution tool, another tool I do not have. But there's a page or a section within Facebook that describes it and it looks pretty cool. It seems to be coming later this fall. Small sample size curiosity. So this could be a whole new feature or theme or whatever that we do. But just a little something I've noticed that I stumbled upon recently that kind of surprised me. And it's a complete small sample size alert situation. But I was having I was really stumbling and troubled by the costs I was seeing when promoting blog posts lately and optimizing for landing page views. And I made a quick little tweak, and once you know it, I'm back to normal. But very small sample size. It was for a campaign I started yesterday. So that said, still numbers I haven't seen in a while. So I was happy to see that. And then, of course, this week's quick video tutorial, of course, for PHC members only. It's the process of adding a Facebook group app. It's something that we've talked about several weeks now, and it was kind of a mystery, this whole adding a group app, and it was also a mystery, why are we having these issues with the groups API and apps that are publishing to the Facebook group aren't working and all this stuff. It all started to make sense over the last few weeks. It's because you have to get these apps added to your Facebook group now if you're an admin, and I did a quick video tutorial on that to get that done for you. Then we'll have the Q&A at the end. Easy enough, right? All right. So first up, if you haven't noticed, there's a very helpful member, and a member of our team. So member of PHC Elite, member of PHC Basic, Lucas Elliott, we call him Luke, who's been contributing content to the site lately, and he's freaking great. So a lot of the really nerdy stuff that I love to do too, and very thorough, very well written. Thank you, Luke. So the latest blog post he wrote was on the ideal Facebook ad frequency. It's, like I said, extremely thorough, and I feel like I'm not going to do it justice by walking through today, because I'm just going to hit some top level things that he talked about. But so he talked about, what frequency is, and you should check that out. But ultimately, all it is how many times do you reach people, the typical person on average, with an ad. And so you find that essentially manually by taking the number of impressions over the total number of people you've reached as a frequency. It's an inexact science, by the way. And he showed, okay, well, how do we find it? And you need to customize columns and add a column for frequency. And here's a quick example of that. So in this sample campaign, you got reach, impressions, frequency. So if you take impressions over reach, that equals the frequency. Easy enough, right? But then, again, I'm skipping over a lot of stuff he talked about, but one of the cool things he broke out is, so within your ads manager, if you click on that whole graph thing, this thing here, you can actually find frequency, also frequency cumulative as well, but frequency, and then look at it on a day-to-day basis. So see if there's certain days that your frequency is higher than others. Also, and this is a point I've made a million times too, so I'm glad that that Luke brought it up, because people ask me, what's a good or bad frequency, and I'm like, it really, really depends. First of all, for me, is it working? Is your ad working? If it is, then who cares? But the other thing is, if people start looking at a set number for frequency, it can be really misleading, because do you include the right-hand column? Because if you do include the right-hand column in your placements, that's usually where you can get a lot of your frequency. And the truth is, people aren't generally very annoyed with frequency on the right-hand column. It's more so if your frequency is high in the news feed. So he shows you how to find this. It's within breakdown, you find placement, and then it shows you row by row which placement provides how much frequency. As you're going to notice here, right-hand column, in this example, 2.5, whereas everything else was right about 1. So is frequency too high? Again, we don't know what everything is associated with this, but this seems like a very low frequency overall. And then really kind of summary of everything. What's the ideal frequency, and does it matter, and all this. It depends on your specific situation. So, he even talked about how if you just you might be looking for awareness, brand recognition. Selling products a lot of times, just the first time won't be good enough. So there are times when higher frequency you want, as opposed to low frequency. So he kind of, in summation, these are kind of some of the things he talked about within the blog post. You can monitor frequency, whether it be at the campaign, ad set, or ad level. High frequency often. Now, why is it a problem? It is often tied to ad fatigue, and it's going to impact your results. So if you start reaching people for the third, fourth, fifth, sixth time, usually you're going to start getting negative feedback. Usually your costs are going to start going up, and just the rate at which they perform the action you want are going to be going down. But he also said high frequency can be less of a concern if you have high creative variety. So if you're reaching people with lots of ads within the same campaign, but they're very different, right? There's just the imagery, maybe the text is different that you're testing out. In that case, the overall frequency, not a big deal necessarily. But ultimately, if you believe the high frequency may be a problem with your campaigns, you do have some options to control them. So he went through some of that, one of them being your automated rules is an example too. So when your frequency gets over a certain point, you can have Facebook either pause the campaign or lower the budget or lower the bid, etc. So really good stuff from Luke. Again, I'm not doing it justice. Make sure you check out the blog post. Really awesome. Okay. Yeah, welcome back to me, I guess. I haven't written a blog post in quite a while. For those of you unaware, this is... I just broke out of my busiest time of the year, and it has nothing to do with business. It has to do with coaching my son's baseball team. And I know that we talk about it all the time, but point being, I haven't written in a while. Thank you to Lucas for helping me out with all that content. I was able to contribute today with my latest blog post. This is something we've covered here within the last few weeks, and I decided to write a blog post about it. It's the ability to add a contact form, which is basically like a lead ad form, to a canvas. And it's something a lot of people had spotted in their news feeds, like, oh, how did they do this? And then we started stumbling upon how exactly this is done, and I wrote a blog post about it. So let's just breeze through this. Basically, this is all within the blog post. First thing you got to know, traffic objective, at least for now, you got to use it. But the other thing is, and this has gone back and forth because I talked about it, if not last week, the week before, that this changed in terms of I could use the landing page views optimization, and this worked fine. Well, now I'm getting this error again. This is at the ad level that I can't check adding a full screen experience, which is a canvas basically, unless I use something other than landing page view optimization. Weird. All right, so you got to go back in. I'm going to change it to link clicks, which we're going to talk about that later today, by the way. And then once you know it, now the ability to check that box. So when you check that box, you're going to get these 3 templates. And this first one says, include a form in your ad. This template now includes the option to include a mobile-friendly form that opens instantly when someone taps your ad. So really cool. Basically, this is like any other canvas that you might create to get new customers. But at the very bottom of it, you could include a form, which is basically the equivalent of a lead ad form. If you're familiar with those, where just it pre-fills first name, last name, email address, that type of information from somebody's Facebook profile. Note that you also have the ability to add this collect contact info. I don't know why anyone would use this one. You can't customize it at all. It's basically just a lead ad. That's all it is, from what I could tell. So anyway, when you select this Get New Customers template, and you have to do it here, by the way, at the very bottom of it, it's not even activated by default. You've got to turn it on. And when you do that, this is going to look familiar to anyone who's created a lead ad form before. It looks just like it. So by default, it's going to be email address, full name, but obviously you can change that. You can add some custom questions if you want. You're going to add the privacy link URL. You can add a headline, description, the website link, so after they're done, they can click a button. It looks like you can't customize that button, by the way, unlike on a lead ad form. But a few considerations. First of all, at least for now, these forms within Canvas do not currently work on Instagram, so you can get this error. It doesn't look like you have to remove that placement from what I can tell, because oftentimes they'll force you to remove it or they'll remove it automatically. I'm guessing it just won't go to that placement, or, man, you might want to just remove it just in case. I guess Facebook may still run the ad to Instagram, and then people can't click on the form, and that would be bad. Bad experience. Another thing, yeah, that collected contact info template is just like doing a lead ad. So if you're going to use that, just use the lead ad, because you can't add anything to that canvas from what I can tell. Also, if you chose to click on that, use the advanced canvas builder and use the templates from there, I couldn't find any way to add the contact form within that. So you really got to use it from those main templates on the main screen, at least for now. Because yeah, if you try to select a component, there's no component for a lead ad form or contact form. I assume these are all things that are probably coming. These are all likely oversights at this point, and Facebook will add that eventually. And then finally, you got to create a form from scratch. Again, it seems kind of weird that you can't select a form you previously created, whether it's through this method or like from a lead ad form or lead ads. But yeah, so you just got to do it all from scratch. And by the way, if anyone's wondering, I'm not sure what happens with this in terms of lead collection. If like Zapier is going to be still connected for something like this, I assume so, but it might all depend on if Zapier is up to date on their API. So when are we going to use something like this, where we have a canvas with a contact form within it? A couple of ideas immediately came to mind for me. I mean, first of all, it's high-priced products. So if you're selling real estate, or if you're selling cars or something like that, where a canvas can be really effective in kind of telling a story about why you should be interested in this. But in the past, it's like, well, you have a link that drives to their website, and then to do what? Well, if you have a lead ad form in there, it's like, oh, contact us to talk to a sales rep or get more information. I think that could be really, really useful and helpful. But also, you can now use a canvas. I keep saying canvas. I think Facebook has pretty much moved away from that verbiage, and they basically call it a full screen experience, but you know what I'm talking about. To feature lead gen or free products. So got a new webinar, got a video series, you got ebook, something like that, where you use a canvas to describe how great it is, and at the bottom you got a form where they register for it. Right? I think all those it could be really good ways to use this. All right, so next up, Buffer. And I say these are trends from Buffer. Buffer published this. They reached out to AppSumo to get this information that I think it was 20,000 Facebook pages that they got all this information from. And so here are a few things that they determined. I think there are 5 main things. First of all, they've noticed that, man, oh man, the volume of Facebook posts from pages going way up. Why? I don't know. Maybe they think this counters the drop in reach by posting more often. All it does is create more problems, right? Think about it. We're creating more problems for ourselves by creating more content for Facebook to filter more out. First quarter of 2017, we're at 6.5 million apparently Facebook posts from those 20,000 Facebook pages. Second quarter of 2018, up to over 8 million. That's a pretty big increase. And so that amounts to just over 4 posts per day. That seems to be a lot. Wouldn't you know it, total Facebook interactions from first quarter 2017 down. I don't know. Maybe it's not directly correlated. Maybe this is all reactionary. They're publishing more because they're getting less interaction. I think it has a lot to do with just not being very smart. So publishing more, resulting in less interaction. Well, I guess not necessarily resulting in, but they're getting less interaction. We know that. So same time frame, average engagement per post has dropped by over 65% from nearly 4.5 thousand engagements per post to about 1,500. So 1,500 engagements per post. That's a pretty big drop. They say 65%. I think that's, I don't know. I'd say that's like 3 times difference. But performance by post type, first quarter of 2017 versus second quarter of 2018. Wow, right? Images, basically a third. Videos in half. Links, man, I mean, definitely a third to almost a fourth. Performance is poor. And yeah, I believe that's all interactions as well. But here's the other thing that they're noticing. Posting 5 times per day resulted in higher overall engagement. So, but it's just the 5 times, really. I mean, you post more than 10 times, the engagement and frequency of posting is pretty poor. 5 to 9 is pretty good. 1 to 4 is even better. Less than 1 for whatever reason. It's 3,127. Engagements per post. So they say posting 5 it resulted in more overall engagement, but engagement per post is best when you don't post that frequently, which none of us should be all that surprised. But if you have an option, let's say, of getting 3,000 engagements for 1 post, or posting 2 or 3 times in that same day and really multiplying it by 3, yeah, that makes sense, right? But when you start saying 10 times, clearly that's not beneficial. 5 times might be, but you see a huge drop off when you get to 10. So yeah, that's what we see here is total drop in engagement from first quarter 2017 to second quarter 2018. Basically a 66% drop if you're publishing 10 times or more per day, or more than 10 times per day. Whereas if you're publishing like 1 time or less, basically, or 1 to 4 times, that total drop in engagement is about 55%. Still definitely a drop, and a 66% average overall. So thanks to Buffer and AppSumo for all that information. Yeah, total drop in engagement by page type. Artists, for whatever reason, seeing the biggest drop. Movie, media, news, which is interesting. I think some of that could be fake news related. Public figures. Retail brands aren't seeing as much of a drop, but everybody. And again, how much of this is related to just posting too much? Don't know. All right, so Facebook also announced a business page redesign. They're going to be rolling out starting in the US, I believe. They're going to put an emphasis on recommendations. So basically when people give recommendations to your page, they're going to put greater emphasis on it. Something else I read that's not mentioned here, they're going to put a character limit, I think 250 characters or something like that. I could be wrong in that number. But basically trying to get a higher quality recommendation. Also putting emphasis on actions. So you can be able to provide more. They're going to have a more prominently featured suite of action buttons. Things like a book, or like book an appointment for a haircut, order a pizza, send a message, write a recommendation. All this stuff would be on mobile. And they're going to update their page templates as a result of this. Also, if you've created a story to tell more about your business, there's going to be increased visibility of that. Customized business information. So you can be able to feature stuff like your hours, price range, recommendations, or restaurant menu more prominently. So events, 700 million people use Facebook events each month. So they're making it easier to sell tickets for events directly on Facebook with new ticketing integrations. And also expanding jobs to all people in business across the world. And so that should help anyone who's trying to fill roles within their business. All right, so that takes us to another study. This one from Attribution. Yeah, they did a $1,000 experiment, which, come on, guys, you can spend a little bit more than that. But just determine whether short or long copy is best. And basically what they did is they did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different variations of short and long medium length copy. So you have 1 paragraph, 3 paragraphs, 6 paragraphs, bullet points and emojis. Oh, not a fan. 1 sentence, or 2 different variations of 1 sentence. Once you know it, the results were the complete opposite of what people often tell us. They say, oh, short copy is better than long copy. The reality is, first of all, a paragraph was the best, the lowest CPA, but 3 paragraphs, 6 paragraphs came in next. So the longest copy was getting some of the best results. And again, small sample size, I would put all those 3 probably pretty even along with bullet points, which is whatever. And the shortest copy was by far the most expensive. Wouldn't you know it? And they even surveyed their audience of marketers, and showed them what ads they're going to use and asked them to vote on what they thought was going to be most effective, and they were completely wrong. But that just goes back again, and again, small sample size doesn't mean a lot, but I say it over and over and over. There's no right or wrong. There's no hard and fast rule that needs to be short copy, long copy, medium copy, needs to have bullet points, needs to have emojis, all that garbage. You never know, and you need to experiment. So you may have heard about some controversy regarding Facebook and banks, and Facebook can use data from banks and from you that you send to banks and whether for advertising or whatever. No, that's not what's happening. Basically, so again, it's all within this TechCrunch article, but basically all that's happening is Facebook's been testing the ability for you to, so there's integration with Messenger with certain banks. So if you like want to check on your balance or something like that, you can ping that bank through Messenger as opposed to doing it through email or their website or whatever. And Facebook's been clear that this doesn't include any human interaction on their side. It's all automated, and I don't think they collect that data or do anything, whatever. So anyway, it's not data they're collecting. It's just a way for users to communicate with banks. That's it. Try games before you buy. So I thought this was interesting. Anyone who is an app developer, game developer, or have a client where you've been running ads for them, I think this will be really useful. So the ability to have playable ads where people can try out a game, obviously an abbreviated version of it, to determine, oh, I really like this game, to get hooked on it in that abbreviated version, and then they click to install it. And once you know, the results have been really good. Bagel Code, nice name, tested playable ads, saw 3.2 times improvement in return on ad spend on Android, 1.4 times improvement on iOS. Rovio saw 40% lower cost per paying user, 70% lift in day 7 return on ad spend. Now, if you want to use this, you got to work with one of Facebook's developers, and they list all of them there. So if you're looking for this functionality, check out that link within the replay notes for more. So Tom, our man Tom, within PHC Elite, he's always sharing new features because he gets access to everything before the rest of us do, apparently. And he says you can configure events and auto-tracked events in the Pixel. You can even deactivate things that should not be tracked. So yeah, you got the immediate option to deactivate. Not sure what pinning would do necessarily. I would have loved to see some more screens. I don't know if any of these are auto-generated events. Some of these are predefined. One of them is custom. But definitely interesting. Tom, if you could share some more screen grabs, I think a lot of us would love to see that. Then Florian from PHC Elite said came across this one sheeter, which is a landing page from Facebook, which mentions a new tool called Facebook Attribution. So first I've heard about this. Our friend Andrew Foxwell, I guess, was even in on the development of this tool. And basically, it's kind of what you'd expect. So it's understanding the impact of your marketing across different channels, different devices, different publishers, and this attribution tool helping you better understand, how all that's working. So Florian shared this screen grab showing, okay, there's a total of 8,000 purchases in the last 90 days from all sources, and it breaks down what those sources are between Facebook, Google. It's really small text, email, Yahoo, stuff. I'm too old to read it. But basically, this can be a whole new feature you can find within your ads manager. And yeah, I can't wait to see it and try it out. All right, small sample size curiosity. So we talked about small sample size earlier with that study that Espresso did. So big small sample size alert on this one. Now, what's not a particularly small sample size is these results. So kind of rewind a little bit. One part of my strategy has always been to promote content. So promote blog posts where there's no need to buy or opt in or anything like that. Where I'm measuring it just based on, okay, how many people are clicking that link, going to my website and consuming it. And then I've been, ever since landing page views optimization came around, I've been optimizing for landing page views. That's all worked really well. I generally get anywhere from 10 cents to 20, maybe 25 cents per landing page view, especially if I advertise it for longer. At least on the johnlimber.com stuff. On some of the baseball stuff, I get like 5 cents. It's really nice. Cost per landing page view. But man, oh man, especially lately, I've had really poor results. Now, understand, lots of factors could be contributing to this, including the fact that The learning within that optimization may be off because I haven't been publishing as many blog posts lately, not advertising as much as I used to. But as you can see, these costs per landing page view are awful when I'm not even selling anything or getting an opt-in or anything. And I spent a decent amount here. We got 50 cents, $2.17. I don't know why I ran that one as long. I actually ended up optimizing for engagement because you can see I was experimenting with something. That was bad. 76 cents, $1.20. That $1.20 was the one that was last week's blog post. Like, what in the world is going on? Well, once you know it, I decided to optimize for link clicks instead when using the traffic objective this week. And it's a very small sample size, but I mean, look at it. This is 212 link clicks, so it's not that much different from some of these. And we're getting 14 cents per link click, 17 cents per landing page view. Definitely much more in line with what I was getting before and what I've been expecting. That will probably continue to go up a little bit, but it's going to be nowhere near what I was getting before. So is this because this new blog post is that much more interesting to everybody? I don't know. Is it because the copy creative or just that much more eye-grabbing? I don't know. I also just published my latest blog post today, and I'm promoting that one too. We'll see what kind of results come out of that one. Optimize it for link clicks. Point being is this. If you've been struggling with the cost per landing page view lately, because that's what you optimize for, definitely. And I know I tried. Okay, let's try engagement instead. That was crap for me. Try link clicks again, which is the old school way. And I know they say, well, how many of those are actually landing page views? You could still customize columns and find that out. It may be more effective for you. Okay, latest quick video tutorial. This is a long one today. Adding Facebook groups to apps. So, and that actually was, trying to think. No, I didn't write a blog post on that. So we talked about this before. We were seeing lots of issues with Facebook's groups API, and then apps not working. They're going to publish to a group. So, for example, running my PHC webinars, streaming them to either PHC Elite or doing the John and John webinars or Facebook Live, streaming that to the PHC entrepreneurs. I was having big issues with that. And it's because you needed to first add these apps to the Facebook group within the page admin. So I'll walk through it in this week's quick view tutorial. So we'll do it really, really fast. So first of all, I'm going to see what was happening. So this is within BeLive. And I went and selected a group that I wanted to publish to. And if I hadn't added that app yet, I was getting this error. Well, whoops. So I guess I got to add that app to my group. So to do that, went into the More, then Edit Group Settings, and then scroll down to Apps, Add Apps. And then, yeah, they have a whole bunch of them now. You can search in the apps too, by the way. But I just had to scroll down, okay, where's BeLive? And there it is. So once I added that, we're good to go. So that's the crazy thing is looking at that, you had no idea what adding that app actually did, but now we know what it does. It's just required and necessary for whatever reason. So that's this week's quick video tutorial. We're actually up to 70 now. I did publish that to both of the PHC groups. You also should have received an email today, or I think it was today, maybe yesterday, with that latest quick video tutorial. If you're not aware, within powerhittersclub.com, you can access all 70 of them. You can filter by various topics, etc. That's it. We're all done. We had a lot to talk about today, didn't we? I'll wait a couple seconds here, see if you have any questions. I know I was flying. Make sure you check out those two latest blog posts, though. Luke's article is really useful on the topic of frequency. I hope my article is useful on adding forms to Canvas. Very in-depth, both of them. But yeah, I'll wait a couple seconds here. Okay, well, if you have anything, drop me a message in the comments. I'll get you the replay out here within the hour. Otherwise, until next time, do awesome things. I'm out.